Luskin, one good thing about Microsoft Yahoo deal is it takes subprime mortgages off the front pages. I just want to ask you your quick take on this deal. You're a Silicon Valley kind of guy.
I don't get it. I don't understand. Google is just so much the winner in this space. I don't understand how the two losers are going to get anywhere by huddling together for warmth. If it's such a great deal to put Microsoft and Yahoo together, then investors just ought to buy shares of Yahoo and shares of Microsoft and say, hey, we've got a virtual merger. They're still going to all get killed by Google.
Hey, Don Luskin, his right. The Paulson Treasury Group or Joe Livornia?
Oh, my God.
Give
me a hard question, Larry. Hey, I'll tell you who's really wrong. Who's really wrong is David Rosenberg of Merrill Lynch, who is patient zero in this current outbreak of mad bear disease. He had a piece out for clients today that just absolutely cracked me up. Came out after the jobs number. He said, oh, well, this isn't as good as it seems because there are all these people who have 2 jobs. There's more people than ever who have 2 jobs. Wait a second. I thought in a recession, people had 0 jobs. He's complaining that people have 2 jobs. What would happen if people had 3 jobs? Would we then be in a depression?
I have 2
jobs.
I have 3 jobs. I have 3 jobs, and I'm grateful to have every one of them.
Larry, and you're good at every one of them, Larry.
Pizzelle is correct, and I know he is. Doesn't that give canny investors, including yourself, you've given us great advice, that gives you an opportunity to be a great contrarian, make a lot of money, doesn't it, Don?
Absolutely, absolutely. It keeps prices low, so on average, you will get a higher return from your investments than if the media were constantly talking everything up. But, you know, you've just got to remember what Vince said is right. If it bleeds, it leads. These people need negative stories. They need sex and violence and degradation and horror and catastrophe. And when they can attach that to the economy, they do. It's just terribly sick, self-serving stuff.
A lot about the economy that's weighing on the private investment community right now. Housing prices are down, the price of gas is up. But the people are still working. 154 million Americans have jobs. Incomes are growing, although slowly. But they sit there and they go, this doesn't compute. What I'm watching on TV doesn't compute. So they seek out where they can find what they believe to be the truth. And that's why the proliferation of news on the Internet is so great.
And they come to CNBC.
And they come, well, the ratings are up significantly.
Yeah,
There's a reason for it. The ratings are up because they can go and they can get, I'm sorry,
they always say that they think there's a recession going on in the general economy. But when you ask these people in these polls, how are your personal financial circumstances, they say, oh, I'm fine personally. It's just everyone else is in a recession.
Don, that's why I never buy consumer sentiment surveys, because when you say, well, how are things? Oh, things are bad, things are bad. But I'm going out to dinner tonight, please excuse me, because you kind of answer the question the way you think you're supposed to answer it.
Right.
Exactly.
And I find there's no correlation between consumer sentiment and stock market.
Or if you work for the New York Times, things are bad for you. If you work for the New York Times, you probably just got laid off.
When the whole world tells you you're in a recession, you're going to say you're in a recession.
But, Luskin, I'd ask you, it's a serious question. It may sound tongue-in-cheek, but only a little.
Go
the
ahead.
more we have seen the Reverend Jeremiah Wright in recent weeks, the better stocks have performed. So I want to ask you, why is Reverend Jeremiah Wright so bullish for the stock market?
Because Barack Obama is a real hazard to the stock market. The last thing the U.S. economy needs is to have a president elected by sort of popular acclamation as though he's a new man and he's going to change everything. And he's the reincarnation of Jesus Christ and Martin Luther King all rolled up together. And whatever he wants, he gets. Well, what he wants is a higher capital gains tax rate and all kinds of other really stupid ideas. So having him cut down a couple notches is really bullish.
And the ultimate beneficiary is McCain, who, I don't know, do you think McCain has become a stock market investor class favorite, or has he still got more work to do?
Well, he's got plenty of work to do, but you know what? He's certainly the best of a bad lot, and anybody who's interested in prosperity in this country has got to back John McCain.
And just so let me get this right. As America's leading Keynesian economist, you don't like rebates? I thought you all designed
Larry,
them.
I do love rebates. Can you imagine how bad things would be if we weren't pumping in extra $100 billion to help people? It'd be even worse.
It's about $400 billion at an annual rate
right.
if you look at it quarterly.
That's right. That's
pumping it in? Wait a second. You mean pumping it out of your left pocket and pumping it into your right pocket?
No, not
How
really. I
work?
mean, the market isn't crowding out that spending. So I could see if interest rates were rising because of this rebate, then you'd have the right point on. But I think, look, there's still a lot of
that's right. I keep forgetting. You're the one who thinks interest rates are going down.
So this stimulus package is going to work.
You know, it's true though. I've never met a tax cut I didn't like. Don Luskin, everything but treasuries. You've said that. Are you still there?
Yeah, that's a really good idea. In fact, not only don't own treasuries, if you can find a way to short them, do that. Short them and take the money and buy anything else. No question about it.
Corporates, loans, leverage loans, whatever. They're all
Stocks,
looking pretty good.
baseball cards, whatever. Just go on eBay, buy whatever they're selling.
California.